13 Stoic Lessons for Unshakable Calm. Master your mind and emotions. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with noise, stress, and a never-ending stream of distractions. Our minds are flooded with worries about the future, regrets about the past, and endless pressures to keep up with everything around us. It can feel like the chaos never stops. But what if I told you there's a way to rise above all of that? What if there's a timeless philosophy that can help you stay calm, centered, and clear-minded, no matter how stormy life gets? That philosophy is Stoicism, an ancient school of thought that dates back to over 2,000 years ago. The Stoics were a group of philosophers who understood that life is unpredictable, full of challenges, and sometimes downright overwhelming. Yet, they didn't let that control their peace of mind. Instead, they chose to embrace a different way of thinking, one that prioritized emotional resilience, inner calm, and rational thinking. And that's exactly what we need in the fast-paced world we live in today. We need the tools to keep our minds clear, our hearts steady, and our lives more peaceful. The core idea behind Stoicism is simple. While we can't control everything that happens around us, we can control how we respond to it. It teaches us to focus on what's within our power, our thoughts, our actions, and our mindset, while letting go of the things beyond our control, like other people's behavior, world events, or even unexpected life challenges. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its practicality. It's not about escaping reality or pretending life doesn't have its ups and downs. Instead, it's about embracing those realities with a sense of calm, patience, and rationality. Imagine being able to stay calm in stressful situations, to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, and to cultivate a mindset that helps you navigate life's toughest moments with clarity. Imagine facing adversity without letting it shake your peace of mind. This isn't some distant ideal. It's something you can start practicing right now. In this video, we'll explore 13 powerful lessons from Stoicism that can help you develop that inner calm. These aren't abstract concepts or philosophical ideals. They're practical, actionable strategies that can transform your everyday life. By applying these lessons, you can train your mind to stay focused, calm, and resilient, no matter what life throws at you. So let's dive in and learn how to keep calm and composed, just like the Stoics did. Lesson 1. Control what you can, accept what you can't. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is understanding what you can control and what you can't. At first glance, this might seem obvious, but let's dig a little deeper. Stoics believed that much of the suffering we experience comes from trying to control things that are beyond our reach. We try to control other people's actions, the outcome of situations, or even things like the weather or the economy. And when we fail, because, of course, we can't control these things, we feel frustration, anger, and anxiety. The Stoics teach us to focus on what is within our control, our own actions, our thoughts, and our reactions. Everything else, it's beyond our grasp. Once we fully accept that, it's liberating. You can stop fighting against the natural flow of life and begin to invest your energy into things that truly matter. Think about the last time you felt stressed or upset about something. Was it because something happened that was out of your control? Maybe a colleague's behavior, a delayed flight, or a family member's decision. In those moments, you're trying to change something that simply isn't yours to change. The Stoic response is not to waste energy on things you can't control. Instead, focus on how you choose to react. If someone treats you unfairly, for example, you can't control their actions, but you can control how you respond to them, whether with patience, calm, or understanding. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you'll start feeling a sense of peace that comes from focusing on what truly matters. Remember, it's not about resignation, it's about empowerment. The Stoic mindset isn't about giving up, but about redirecting your energy to what you can actually influence. This shift in focus will help you stay calm, no matter what's happening around you. Lesson 2. Embrace adversity as an opportunity. Stoicism isn't about avoiding adversity or pretending it doesn't exist. Quite the opposite, in fact. The Stoics believed that hardship was not just inevitable, but necessary for growth. Every challenge, every difficulty, is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that adversity, while often unpleasant, can be the perfect chance to practice and strengthen your character. Imagine your life as a piece of clay. Every hardship you face is like a sculptor, shaping you into something stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When a setback occurs, whether it's a personal failure, a work-related issue, or even a health problem, our first instinct might be to view it as a threat or a sign that everything is falling apart. But the Stoics remind us to shift that perspective. Instead of feeling defeated, view the obstacle as a challenge that will help you grow. When you embrace adversity this way, it stops being something to fear and instead becomes something to welcome. Consider Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful Stoics who ruled as a Roman emperor. He faced war, political unrest, personal loss, and disease throughout his life. Yet he didn't let these challenges steal his peace. He saw them as part of the human experience, as opportunities to practice resilience, patience, and virtue. Rather than being discouraged by adversity, he leaned into it and made the best of each situation. This mindset shift, viewing adversity as an opportunity for growth, helps you remain calm in the face of life's inevitable difficulties. When you're not afraid of hardship, it loses much of its power to disturb your peace. Lesson 3. Practice negative visualization. Here's a powerful Stoic technique that can drastically reduce anxiety and increase your calmness. Negative visualization. The Stoics practiced a form of mental preparation where they deliberately imagined the worst-case scenario. Sounds strange, right? But bear with me for a moment, because this practice is incredibly effective. The basic idea behind negative visualization is to mentally rehearse the possibility of losing something you value, whether it's your health, a loved one, your job, or anything else. You don't do this to dwell on negativity, but rather to appreciate what you have and prepare your mind for the unexpected. By imagining the worst-case scenario, you become less attached to the outcome, knowing you can handle whatever comes your way. Take a moment to think about your life right now. What would happen if things went south, if you lost your job, or if your relationship hit a rough patch? It's uncomfortable to think about, right? But here's the thing. By practicing negative visualization, you train your mind to be less fearful of loss. It makes you more resilient. And, ironically, it helps you appreciate what you have even more. You realize that things aren't as permanent as they seem, and that it's okay to let go of the need for control. Imagine you're driving to work and you're stuck in traffic. Normally, you might feel frustration building up after all. It's not your fault, right? But with negative visualization, you could think to yourself, what if this traffic leads to something worse? What if this delay actually prevents me from being in a dangerous situation? By reframing the situation and accepting that it might not be ideal, but it's not the worst thing that could happen, you regain a sense of peace. This technique doesn't mean you should dwell on worst-case scenarios all the time or expect disaster at every turn. Instead, it's about training your mind to handle the inevitable challenges life throws your way, with the understanding that even if things don't go as planned, you will be okay. Negative visualization makes the mind stronger, more prepared, and less anxious, allowing you to stay calm no matter what. Lesson 4. Live in agreement with nature. One of the most profound teachings of Stoicism is the idea that we should live in harmony with nature. Now, by nature, the Stoics weren't just talking about the natural world around us, trees, mountains, and oceans. Although those are part of it, they were also referring to the natural order of life, the universe, and our own human nature. This means accepting the way things are rather than resisting them. It's about understanding that the world doesn't revolve around your personal desires and that everything unfolds in its own time and rhythm. When we resist reality, we create unnecessary tension within ourselves. For example, if you're constantly frustrated because things aren't going the way you want them to, you're fighting against the very flow of life. But if you learn to live in agreement with nature, you accept that things will unfold as they must, and you adjust accordingly. This doesn't mean being passive or letting life happen to you. It means recognizing what is within your control and what is not, and accepting the things that you can't change. Imagine you're facing a situation you didn't plan for. Perhaps you didn't get a job you were hoping for, or a project didn't turn out as expected. The Stoic approach here would be to step back and remind yourself that life is not always going to go according to your plans, and that's okay. It's a part of nature's course. Instead of feeling frustration or resentment, you accept the reality of the situation and then adjust your actions to move forward with a sense of calm and purpose. When you align yourself with the natural flow of events, you let go of the unnecessary struggle and find peace in what is. Living in agreement with nature also means embracing your own human nature. The Stoics believed that we were made to live virtuously, to be rational and reasonable beings who contribute positively to the world. So when you act in accordance with this true nature, you find yourself naturally at peace. You stop fighting your own instincts and desires, and instead focus on using your reason to guide your actions. This lesson encourages you to step back, observe the world as it is, and find your place in it without resistance. The more you do this, the more you'll notice that the need for control over everything starts to dissolve. You'll experience less stress and frustration and more peace and acceptance. Lesson 5. Memento Mori. Remember your mortality. Now let's talk about something that might seem a little unsettling at first, but that can have an incredibly calming effect on your mindset. Memento Mori, which translates to remember that you will die. This isn't a morbid or depressing reminder, but rather a liberating one. The Stoics believed that regularly reminding ourselves of our own mortality helps us live more fully in the present, appreciate the moments we have, and ultimately keep calm in the face of life's inevitable challenges. When we understand that life is short and that we are not guaranteed another moment, we begin to prioritize what truly matters. We stop wasting time on trivial worries and focus on what's important. It's easy to get caught up in daily stresses, the work deadlines, the conflicts with others, or the frustrations of life. But when you remind yourself that life is fleeting, those stresses start to feel a lot less significant. Memento Mori doesn't mean living in fear of death. Instead, it encourages us to make the most of the time we have. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, practiced this regularly. He would remind himself that death could come at any time, and in doing so, he was able to put life into perspective. When you truly grasp the idea that your time is limited, you'll find yourself letting go of petty grievances and unnecessary anxieties. This awareness also helps you manage your emotions more effectively. If you know that the time you spend on earth is precious, why waste it on anger, resentment, or stress? By embracing Memento Mori, you stop sweating the small stuff. You're more likely to forgive, to let go of things you can't control, and to appreciate the beauty in every moment. You focus on making your life meaningful and fulfilling, rather than chasing fleeting worries that don't serve you in the long run. When you remember that death is inevitable, you begin to live with more intention and focus. And in doing so, you maintain a sense of peace and calm, knowing that each moment is an opportunity to live fully, to be present, and to embrace what's important. Lesson 6. Focus on the present moment. This is where the magic happens, right here, right now. The Stoics were firm believers in the power of the present moment. They understood that the past is gone and that the future is uncertain, but the present is where we have the power to act. By focusing on the present, we not only cultivate a sense of calm, but we also free ourselves from the weight of past regrets and future anxieties. How many times have you found yourself stressing over something that happened days, weeks, or even years ago? Or perhaps you've been consumed with worry about what might happen tomorrow or next month. This is something most of us do, often without realizing it. But the Stoics remind us that neither the past nor the future is within our control. The past is gone, and the future is yet to come. The only time we truly have is now. The present moment is where you can make choices. It's where you can take action, reflect, and find peace. Marcus Aurelius was known for repeatedly reminding himself to focus on the present. He would write in his journals, urging himself to live each moment fully, to avoid distraction, and to remain focused on what he could control in the here and now. Living in the present also means accepting that, while you may plan for the future is unpredictable. Instead of being consumed with worry about what could go wrong, focus on what you can do right now. If something goes wrong today, deal with it as it comes. If something doesn't go according to plan tomorrow, respond to it as it happens. You have the power to navigate this moment, nothing else. Focusing on the present isn't just about avoiding stress. It's about truly engaging with life as it is. It's about noticing the small details, the way the sunlight falls through the window, the taste of your food, the sound of laughter from a loved one. By immersing yourself in the present moment, you train your mind to be calm and centered, letting go of distractions that pull you away from living fully. When you focus on the present, you stop being enslaved by the past or the future. You live with more clarity, more purpose, and most importantly, with a deeper sense of peace. Lesson 7. Use rationality over emotion. One of the most powerful tools Stoicism gives us is the ability to prioritize reason over emotional impulses. As humans, we are all subject to emotional reactions. Anger, fear, jealousy, frustration, these feelings can rise up quickly and strongly, sometimes leading us to react in ways we later regret. The Stoics, however, encouraged us to pause and use rationality to guide our actions, especially in moments of emotional turmoil. Think about it. How many times have you acted impulsively, letting your emotions dictate your response, only to feel worse afterward? The Stoics recognized that emotions are a natural part of being human, but they also understood that we can train ourselves to control them. They taught that emotions, particularly those driven by passion, arise from incorrect judgments or misperceptions of reality. If we can correct our thinking, we can control how we feel. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, your immediate emotional reaction might be anger. But through the lens of Stoicism, you could pause and ask yourself, is this anger helping me? Is it within my control that this person cut me off? The answer, most likely, is no. Your anger isn't changing the situation, but it's definitely affecting your peace. By using rationality, you can recognize the futility of the emotion and choose a more calm, reasoned response. In fact, by reframing the situation, perhaps considering that the driver might be in a rush, or that accidents happen, you begin to regain your sense of control. Marcus Aurelius, known for his Stoic philosophy, wrote in his Meditations, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, your mindset shapes your emotional state. If you focus on logical reasoning and understanding the nature of the situation, you'll be less likely to be consumed by intense emotional reactions. When you actively choose rationality over emotion, you avoid reacting impulsively and can remain more level-headed in the face of life's challenges. Training yourself to use reason instead of emotion doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means responding to them thoughtfully and intentionally. By slowing down and applying a calm, rational perspective, you regain your inner peace and avoid the stress that comes from emotional turbulence. Lesson 8. View life objectively. Another key Stoic lesson is the practice of viewing life objectively. This means stepping back from your personal biases, judgments, and emotional reactions to see situations and events for what they truly are. When you can remove yourself from the situation and observe it from a neutral standpoint, it becomes easier to manage your emotions and stay calm. Often, we view events through the lens of our own desires, fears, or personal experiences. For example, if a colleague criticizes your work, your first instinct might be to feel hurt, defensive, or angry, but the Stoic approach encourages you to step back and ask, what is actually happening here? Is this person trying to help me improve, or are they simply expressing their opinion? What part of this is truly within my control? This perspective allows you to see life with more clarity and less emotional entanglement. By viewing situations objectively, you can avoid overreacting or jumping to conclusions. You also develop a greater understanding of others. Instead of assuming someone's actions are personal, you can recognize that their behavior may have nothing to do with you at all. This practice allows you to let go of unnecessary drama and focus on your own actions and responses. For example, consider a stressful situation where someone criticizes you in front of others. Your immediate emotional reaction might be to feel embarrassed or defensive. However, by stepping back and seeing the situation from a neutral, objective standpoint, you might realize that the criticism wasn't meant to hurt you. It's simply an opportunity for growth. By practicing this objective view, you're able to detach from the situation emotionally, allowing you to respond calmly and thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. This lesson empowers you to see beyond your emotions and personal biases. When you view life through a lens of objectivity, you reduce stress and avoid the trap of knee-jerk reactions, which helps you maintain a sense of calm and perspective in any situation. Lesson 9. Practice self-discipline. Self-discipline is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. It's the ability to control your desires, impulses, and actions in order to live in a way that aligns with your values and goals. In the context of staying calm, self-discipline helps you manage your reactions and responses, keeping your emotions in check and allowing you to make rational, thoughtful decisions. Think about how often our lives are derailed by our impulses. We're tempted to indulge in short-term pleasures or distracted by the immediate gratification of things that don't truly serve us in the long run. The Stoics understood that true happiness and calmness come not from fleeting pleasures, but from cultivating virtues like self-control, wisdom, and patience. Self-discipline is about training yourself to act with purpose, rather than being swayed by every impulse. For example, when you're feeling overwhelmed with stress, the instinct might be to retreat into comfort, maybe through overeating, binge-watching TV, or scrolling endlessly through social media. However, these behaviors only offer temporary relief and can contribute to long-term stress or dissatisfaction. A Stoic approach would be to exercise self-discipline, resisting these temptations in favor of more meaningful, constructive actions. Instead of reacting emotionally to stressful situations, self-discipline allows you to pause and reflect before taking action. If you're feeling frustrated or upset, you could take a deep breath, give yourself time to process your feelings, and then respond in a way that aligns with your long-term goals. This is how self-discipline helps you stay calm. It gives you the space to choose your response instead of reacting impulsively. Practicing self-discipline also means managing your time and energy wisely. It's about making decisions that support your well-being, both mentally and physically. Whether it's through daily routines, avoiding distractions, or making healthy choices, self-discipline helps you stay focused, calm, and centered. By practicing this daily, you create a foundation for a calm, fulfilling life that isn't easily shaken by external pressures. Self-discipline isn't always easy, but it's incredibly rewarding. When you can maintain control over your actions and reactions, you'll find yourself more resilient, more calm, and more in tune with the Stoic way of life. Lesson 10. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful practices you can incorporate into your life, especially when it comes to staying calm. In our fast-paced, constantly demanding world, it's easy to get caught up in what we don't have or what's going wrong. We might focus on our shortcomings, our mistakes, or things that irritate us. But Stoicism encourages us to shift our focus to practice gratitude, which helps us appreciate the good that already exists in our lives. The Stoics believe that no matter how difficult life may seem, there is always something to be grateful for. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, often reflected on the gifts he had: his health, his family, his ability to reason, and even the challenges that allowed him to grow. Instead of focusing on the things he couldn't control or things that went wrong, he directed his attention to the blessings around him. This mindset shift can be transformative. Gratitude doesn't require grand gestures or extraordinary circumstances. It's about recognizing and appreciating the small things that often go unnoticed. It's easy to overlook the warmth of a cup of coffee in the morning, the smile of a friend, or the quiet moments of peace you experience throughout the day. But when you pause to acknowledge these moments, you develop a sense of contentment that reduces anxiety and brings calm. Imagine you're having a rough day. Maybe work is stressful, or personal issues are weighing on you. Instead of spiraling into frustration or negativity, take a step back and reflect on what you do have: the support of loved ones, your health, the opportunity to learn and grow. These are things worth appreciating, and when you focus on them, it helps reframe your perspective. Gratitude shifts your attention from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life, and that shift creates a deeper sense of calm. Practicing gratitude also helps you avoid taking things for granted. When you appreciate what you have, you're less likely to feel entitled or dissatisfied. Instead, you cultivate a sense of humility and contentment that keeps stress at bay. In turn, this helps you maintain a more peaceful, grounded state of mind. Lesson 11. Be prepared for anything. One of the most effective ways to maintain your calm during difficult times is to mentally prepare for the challenges that life may throw your way. Stoicism teaches that we should not only expect adversity, but we should also train our minds to be ready for it. This is not about living in fear or constantly anticipating the worst. It's about developing resilience and mental strength so that when obstacles arise, you are equipped to handle them with grace. The Stoics practiced what we might call premeditation of adversity. This means imagining the difficulties you might face in the future and preparing yourself to respond to them calmly. For example, you might consider how you would deal with the loss of a loved one, a career setback, or an unexpected illness. While it's not about dwelling on the negative, mentally rehearsing these scenarios allows you to mentally prepare for life's uncertainties. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, often spoke about the importance of preparing for misfortune. He advised practicing for the worst-case scenario, so that when adversity does strike, you're not blindsided. By thinking ahead, you reduce the fear and anxiety of the unknown. Instead of reacting to a sudden challenge with panic, you respond with composure, knowing that you've already thought through how you might face it. Being prepared also means building the habits and mindsets that will support you during difficult times. This might involve strengthening your emotional resilience, practicing mindfulness, or developing problem-solving skills. By making yourself mentally and emotionally strong in advance, you can approach challenges with a clear mind and a steady heart. This practice of preparation isn't about living in a constant state of worry. Rather, it's about acknowledging that challenges are part of life and taking proactive steps to be ready for them. When you're mentally prepared for the unexpected, you'll experience less stress and more calm in the face of whatever comes your way. Lesson 12. Practice emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, disappointments, and negative experiences. For the Stoics, resilience wasn't about avoiding hardship, but rather about building the mental strength to handle it effectively. Life will inevitably bring challenges, some big, some small. But how you respond to them determines whether you maintain your calm or lose your peace. The Stoic approach to resilience is based on accepting that pain, loss, and difficulty are a part of life. Instead of resisting or denying these emotions, Stoicism encourages us to acknowledge them, process them, and then move forward. Marcus Aurelius often wrote in his Meditations about the importance of accepting misfortune as part of the natural course of life. Rather than seeing suffering as something to avoid at all costs, he viewed it as an opportunity to practice patience, endurance, and wisdom. When you practice emotional resilience, you train your mind to stay steady in the face of adversity. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. Rather, it means understanding that emotions are temporary and that your ability to navigate them defines your peace of mind. When something goes wrong, whether you experience failure, rejection, or loss, you can acknowledge your feelings, allow yourself time to process them, and then move on. You don't let the setback define you or steal your calm. An essential part of emotional resilience is the ability to reframe negative experiences. Instead of viewing challenges as threats, the Stoics encouraged us to see them as opportunities for growth. If you're going through a tough time, instead of thinking, "This is unfair and I can't handle this," you might reframe it by saying, "This is difficult, but it's an opportunity for me to develop more strength and wisdom." The Stoic practice of resilience also means recognizing that suffering is often temporary. Pain, whether physical or emotional, will eventually pass. Understanding this truth helps you remain calm and composed, even in the most challenging times. When you trust that the difficult moments will fade and that you have the strength to endure, you build a deep, unwavering sense of emotional resilience. By practicing emotional resilience, you don't just weather the storms of life, you grow through them. And in doing so, you develop the inner calm to face anything with poise and clarity. Lesson 13. Surround yourself with virtue. The Stoics believed that the company you keep has a profound impact on your mindset and your ability to remain calm. If you surround yourself with people who embody virtues like wisdom, patience, and temperance, you're more likely to cultivate those qualities within yourself. On the flip side, if you spend your time with people who are constantly negative, emotional, or reckless, their energy can rub off on you, undermining your own efforts to stay calm and centered. The Stoics didn't advocate for isolating yourself from others, but rather for choosing your relationships wisely. They believed that we're deeply influenced by the people we associate with, and that virtuous people help us to be better versions of ourselves. Virtue isn't just an individual pursuit, it's something that thrives in community. So, by surrounding yourself with those who demonstrate Stoic virtues, you're not only improving your own character, but you're also building a supportive environment that makes it easier to maintain inner peace. Think about the people in your life. Are they the type of individuals who encourage you to think clearly, act rationally, and stay calm in stressful situations? Or are they people who amplify your anxieties, encourage impulsive actions, and get swept up in drama? The Stoics would argue that the right companions are essential for your mental and emotional well-being. For example, if you find yourself in the presence of someone who is constantly complaining or reacting emotionally to every little thing, it's easy to get caught up in that energy. But if you're around someone who is calm, measured, and virtuous, their example will inspire you to adopt the same approach. Virtue is contagious. So take a good look at the people you surround yourself with and ask yourself, are they contributing positively to your peace of mind? By consciously choosing to spend time with people who share your values and who encourage you to stay true to your principles, you create a support system that helps you remain calm in even the most challenging situations. Whether it's friends, mentors, or colleagues, having virtuous individuals in your circle is key to maintaining your own inner peace. Conclusion. From chaos to calm. So, there you have it, 13 lessons from Stoicism that can help you stay calm, centered, and resilient in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Stoicism is not about avoiding difficulty or pretending that life is always easy. It's about embracing the natural course of events with wisdom, understanding, and a sense of inner strength. It's about accepting what you can't control and focusing your energy on what you can. It's about practicing rationality, cultivating gratitude, and building emotional resilience. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its practicality. These aren't abstract, lofty ideas. They are concrete, actionable lessons that you can start applying today. Every time you encounter adversity, every time you feel the urge to react impulsively, you have the tools to stay calm and thoughtful. Whether it's through focusing on the present moment, viewing challenges as opportunities for growth, or practicing emotional resilience, these Stoic principles can help you navigate life's ups and downs with grace. But perhaps the most important lesson of all is this: you have the power to control how you respond to the world around you. Life will always present challenges, but how you meet those challenges is entirely within your hands. By incorporating these Stoic lessons into your daily life, you'll find that you're not only able to maintain calm during tough times, you'll become a stronger, wiser, and more resilient person. So take these lessons with you, apply them in your own life, And remember that inner peace isn't something you find, it's something you create. Life might not always be calm, but with Stoic wisdom, you can be.